and welcome to Module 1, Lesson 8. Today you're going to need your Foundations notebook, your writing tool, and a growth mindset. We will stop and wait for everybody to get ready. You also need to be sitting up and ready to write because you're going to write the words as we blend them. Go ahead and get your materials. If you're watching the recording of this, pause the recording and start it again when you come back. All right? Okay. Thank you for those of you that got your materials. Today I will be watching to see if you're writing, and I will be listening to see if you're sounding the words with us. This is very important for your reading development. Even if you're already a reader, it's important to practice your foundational skills so when you come across a new unfamiliar word, you can read it with the same skills. Let's get started. Today we will read another story about the characters Dad, Ken, Max, and Mom. They are in a red van. Where will they go? What will they do? We will use the new words and skills we learned today to read about what these characters do. And you are going to read these characters in your digital notebook in Seesaw. I will be checking at the end of the day to see that this assignment is finished. All right? If you have any problems getting into Seesaw, you need to let me know this morning. All right? So let's look at the illustration. What is Dad holding? What are the boys doing in the back seat? And what do they have? Could these items be related to the title of the story? Picnic Fun? So sometimes we use illustrations to get a picture of the story in our mind. Good readers visualize. They see what they're reading. They're not just sounding out, but they put meaning to those words. All right? So before we read the story today, we are going to blend some words again. This activity, tic-tac-toe, is already in your small group workshop PowerPoint. Remember, before you log into a small group meeting, you need to already be signed in to this PowerPoint, the same one we use every day, and ready to work. So let's play with sounds and words. First, let's listen for the beginning and ending sound in a word. Remember that each tile stands for one sound in the word. The purple tiles are the consonants and the blue tiles are vowels. I'll do the first one. Tap. The first sound I hear is t. The next sound I hear is a. And the sound I heard is, and this slide moves too fast. So that's how we segment each word, right? We break apart the sounds. But to read them, we've got to get them back together, right? We segment them to chop them up like we would chop up a worm, right? And worms have 8 hearts. Isn't that cool? So we could make tap, we could break it apart into 3 sounds, but we've got to get it back together or it's not a word. Tap. I tap on the table. So now let's read some sentences. When we read aloud or out loud, we want to read at a smooth, regular rate so we sound just like we would if we were talking. This helps listeners understand what the author wrote. I'm going to read some sentences to show you what I mean. And this is why I want you to read aloud every day and record yourself. Before you submit, I want you to listen to yourself read out loud. The most important part is that you are listening as you're tracking those words, and you're the listener now, but you're listening to yourself. All right? Follow along as I read. That does the job the van can run. Did it sound like I was reading at a smooth, regular rate? No. It was too fast. It did not sound like you would if you were talking to a friend. Now, listen again. Dad does the job. The van can run. What did I do differently this time? What do you think? Right. I read with expression. Dad does the job. The van can run. I paid attention to the punctuation marks, and I didn't read each word too fast or too slow. I didn't say, Dad does the job, the van can run. That's just reading words. No, but I read the sentences. Dad does the job, the van can run. So I read to understand what I was reading, but also so my listener could understand it, right? Now let's read it all together. We will start at the same time and try to read at the same rate so that we sound like one voice. So I need everyone to sit up so they can see the screen, and we're going to read together in one voice. Yes, put your pencils down. Sit up. All right? Dad does the job. The van can run. Ken can see the job Dad did. Not bad, Dad. You got it to hum. Max can see the job Dad did. Not bad, Dad. And you could read those exclamation marks with more expression, but sometimes it's a little too much if we just always shout at an exclamation mark, right? So this passage, those of you that did your reading, this was in your reading, right? I heard a lot of you reading it, and I like the way you read with expression. If you don't know where this comes from, you haven't done your reading this week in Seesaw Learning Journals, then you're not practicing what we do every single morning in Foundations. If we don't use what we practice and what we learn, it's gonna go right out of our brains. All right? Because there's too much going in our brains. We've got to use what's important, the foundations, all right? And that's in reading and math, and that's why those daily activities are so important. All right? We'll talk more about that in a moment. So let's review the CVC pattern. Read the word on the screen with me. Read it with me. That means we read together. I'm listening and watching that you're reading with me. What's the word? Let's read it. Vet. Vet has a consonant vowel consonant pattern, or CVC pattern. Today we did not have to mark it, or we could now instantly notice this pattern. That's learning. In the beginning we had to mark the pattern. Now we just see the pattern, right? Back in kindergarten and first grade, when you learned this pattern, you might have had to mark it. All right, so we are going to blend the letters in line 1 to read a long word. Say the letters with me. V says, tell me the sound. And the next letter, E, E. The next one, L. The next one, V. The next one, E, E. Not if, E. And the last one is a T, and it sounds T. Good. Thank you for those of you that participated. This word has 2 syllables, and each syllable has 1 vowel sound. We see in the syllables the pattern. We instantly recognize this vowel is followed by a consonant. We instantly recognize this vowel is followed by a consonant. they're going to make the short sound. So we're going to group the letters of the long word into two syllables. You see the CVC pattern in each syllable. CVC, CVC. Okay? So now we're going to blend to read these words. Listen as I blend the sounds in the first syllable. Vel. Now listen to the sounds in the second syllable. Ve. Now I put all those sounds together to make one word. The word is, read it with me, velvet. If I needed to go back to a syllable to resound it, that's fine. But I don't want you to say eh, eh. Because by the time you get to this last sound, you're going to forget the rest of the words. You have to keep them glued together. Maybe you got to start over. Velvet. So you're building and adding to, not cutting apart, all right? Good job. We are going to read these lines together in your small group PowerPoint that you already have open before you come to small group. Your team does not have time to wait for you. You need to already have it open. More blend and read in your small group. You'll notice on this Let's Blend, there are a lot of double or two-syllable words. Make sure you're paying attention to the I sound and the eh sound. Because sometimes it almost sounds the same, so we could get away with saying it the wrong way. But the problem is it's going to change the meaning of the word. All right? Yesterday in small group with the green team, we noticed that some of the words, if we change just I to eh, it changed the meaning of the word. From sit to set. And that was just one example, right? When we get into two syllables, it's going to become very important to enunciate or stress those words, all right, those vowel sounds. So, now we're ready to read. Picnic fun. While I am meeting with small groups, you will be reading the story. Everybody has to have this story in your Seesaw Journal finished before PE. So you're going to go do it right now. If you're in yellow group with me, you're going to do it right now. Because we've been meeting so much that you're kind of behind on your practice work. So, yellow group, right now, go to your Seesaw Journal. All right? And find Picnic Fun, Let's Read. I'm going to start small group today with blue group. Because I haven't met with them a lot. So on Wednesdays, I'm going to start with blue group. Because we keep running out of time. And I have something special for blue group today. You can thank Paisley, but I have something special today for blue group. So I'll meet with blue group, green group, and then yellow group. So yellow group and green group. It is time for you. Log out of the meeting. Go to your Seesaw Journal. You have a whole wall of work to do. When you're done with that reading practice in your Seesaw Journal, if you have time, you need to go to ReadWorks. Only 5 people in the entire class out of 15 have done their ReadWorks this week. That's 10 people that haven't, and it's already Wednesday. In ReadWorks, you need to be doing article of the day every day. You'll notice today, if you've been doing it, that it looks a little different. I gave you some other assignments besides articles today, so it's going to look a little different, but you still need to do one story or one article a day. All right? So one assignment, and you'll see that you have multiple assignments in there, one per day, every day. All right? So I thank you to those of you who are doing it. Remember, class, in 2nd grade, you have grades, just like your older brothers and sisters do. If you don't do any work, what grade do you want me to give you? So even if you do your work and it's challenging, I'm going to help you with that, and we're going to do okay. So, I can't grade you for being in the meeting, but I can grade you for turning in work. Okay, and that's the same thing in the classroom. You don't get grades for being in class. You get grades for doing work. All right, and I know it's second grade and it's your first year getting grades, and that's why I'm taking time on this recording to tell you that, in case you're watching it later. All right, because sometimes we'll remind you in class, but if you can't come to class and you have to watch these recordings, then I want you to also know that, okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and head over to, who am I meeting with today? Green group. So yellow group and blue, no, yellow and green group, where are you going? Blue group to your meeting room with me. Yellow group, green group, you need to go to Seesaw Journals. You need to go to ReadWorks. I think that's all of our must-dos for reading. So your daily foundational skills practice in Seesaw, and your ReadWorks at readworks.org. If you have questions, you need to send me a note about that. Remember, no emojis on the wall. I don't even know, Bitmojis I guess they're called, right? Emojis are the little ones. The big ones. We declared yesterday that they're making our walls messy and we can't find things. All right? And it's really not appropriate for school. So if you see somebody, please remind them. Blue group, I'm headed to your room right now. Green group, yellow group, I'll call you if we have time. All right? Right now, independent work, I'm going to check it before PE. I'm checking all the work. And I'm going to make a list of what's not done. All right? So, it doesn't look like we're going to have fun Friday. 5 of you will have fun Friday, and I will stay with the finish. All right? Fair enough? Because some of you are working hard every day. Some of you, I get messages late at night about something not working, and we find another way for you to turn it in. But you're still getting your work done, and I appreciate that. And your future is going to appreciate that. That's why you're strong readers. So, I'll see ya, and have a great day. I'll be checking work at 10 a.m. Good luck. Don't forget to take a break in the middle of your work. Don't go take a break and then come back and say it's because I was on a break. The choice is yours, all right? Blue group. Let's go.